If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. First of all, it's totally free. You heard me, it's free. What's better than that, right? Anchor also makes it easy by providing tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. How convenient is that? Plus, you can grow your brand because when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on a variety of platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more listening platforms. Best of all, you can make money by growing your listening audience. Anchor has everything you need to make a podcast in one place. If you're ready to get started so that your voice can be heard, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hey, Daddy.
What's up, baby?
Do you still do that podcast thing?
Ain't tryna fuss, but it's a must, you gon' respect this. Plus your nuts with touch of dust, you tryna check this. You ain't insane, I write your name down on my checklist. You think I'm playing, I leave you laying, I leave you breathless. I'm not a heathen, please believe I'm breathing for a reason. Until I'm bleeding, really feeling this world is so misleading. Sacrifice your life at night while facing certain sorrow. Your existence is at stake, you might not make tomorrow. Lost my heart when I was crossed, don't wanna make amends. Much too smart, my afterthought, don't wanna make no friends. If you're a fraud, then it's so hard to get a second chance. You could die in front of my eyes, don't get a second glance. As human beings, instead of being so many try to be. You ain't seen what I have seen in my society. So F the killers, F the dealers, F the police. Middle finger in the sky till I die, no peace. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. If you gon' tease me, better please me, cause I just can't take it. I'm not a rapist, but I'll whip you, then I'll strip you naked. There is no mercy for your gender, bend you over quickly. Keep my name on your brain, bet you won't forget me. You don't love me, I don't love you, you get no affection. You get no passion from assassin, only in erection. When I was broke, I had no hope, I didn't have a chance. You get no money from me, no kissing, no hugging, and no romance. I told you once, I told you twice, but seems you didn't listen. Won't be a victim to your constant lies and contradiction. Now to you rappers and you yappers with your punchlines. The game is almost over, now it's crunch time. Said you were sick of me, your medicine was dissing me. Should've checked the side effects and how you missing, see. I choked your throat for what you wrote, you were not a singer. You don't get the thumbs up, you get the middle finger. Middle to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl. Middle finger to the world.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I am back with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor, the podcast where no topic is off limits. What's up, society? It's been a long time since we've talked to one another. It's been since November of last year, and oh, how I've missed the Straight Talk Society. So, real quick, what I've been up to? I've been just simply put, I took the time off just to kind of go learn a new hold, basically, like they say in wrestling. Go get a fresh coat of paint. I just went to hone my craft, and I also went to go build a presence on YouTube. So I have been spending this time trying to build a YouTube channel. I've also joined a team called the Arena Uncensored, where you can find me on YouTube doing shows on Mondays and Wednesdays. We do an awesome wrestling show on Wednesdays. So with my friend Venkat, he does tremendous production on it. Like, that's his bag. That's what he was meant to do. It's one thing when he's doing the podcast with me, but on YouTube, he can do all the production, and you see he puts the clips in and all the explosions and all that good stuff. So, yeah, be sure to check that out. The Arena Uncensored. Every Wednesday we do a Wrestling Wednesday show, and we go live at 6. And then on Mondays we do a show called Champions Corner, where me and a group of panelists, it's not my channel, it's a brother named Black Sun's channel, and they were gracious enough to allow me to join the team, and we go on and just banter about different social topics. Really good comment, really good times, really good content. And I also have finally joined the debate league that I've been telling you guys about. So maybe about a month ago, I joined SVDL, that's Solar Vision Debate League. It's an online debate platform ran by a brother. Really interesting topics that range from everything. So I haven't had my first debate yet, but he does something for all new members that's called a hound session, where he'll have you come on and do like a 5-minute presentation. Then he'll interrogate you for an hour. Then whatever debaters want to come on, they'll come on and hound you. Real good time, man. I did awesome. You guys go check it out. I'll put the links for it on my on the Straight Talk with Trevor Facebook page, the Straight Talk Society. It was awesome, man. But I'm so glad to be back. Listen, you guys know how comfortable I am on this microphone. I love being on this microphone. I love bantering about the topics. I love being controversial. I just love being Mr. Straight Talk. And tonight's going to be no different. I have an excellent show for you tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about one of my favorite things ever in the world to talk about. And that's the importance of the Black father to our communities. And what brought this about is my dad's birthday was recently. And as I was sitting there relaxing with him, I was like, damn, if it wasn't for this guy, man, I wouldn't be the type of dad that I am to my daughter. And so I decided to just do a show basically tributing him, but also touching on the importance of the father being in the home. So I'm not going to go it alone. So you guys know how it is. Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Look at that. I didn't even have the Bluetooth connected. Hello? Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
You can hear me?
Yeah, you sound like when you speak, I hear that noise though.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but you can hear me clear enough though.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can have a conversation.
Okay. So you guys know the voice by now. On the phone, I got Zay, because who better for a show like this, the return episode of Straight Talk with Trevor, than to get one of my day one hitters with me. And I just thought he'll be good to discuss this topic. So tonight's topic, we're going to discuss the importance of the Black father in the household, the importance of the Black father just in general. So what's your thoughts on that, first of all?
Well, I feel like it's very important, and I was looking at some studies that was showing, like, just recently, and they were showing the significance or the difference between single parent homes as far as being raised by the mother and being raised by the father, and it's kids who are raised by their mother only are well, we already see what that looks like, but kids who are raised by their father only they seem to be less susceptible to a lot of the things that happen as far as suicide, drug abuse, incarceration, crime. It's almost just as if, like, it's pretty much, it was showing that when the father leaves his family, like you see the struggles that single moms go through and guys that or people in general that are raised by single moms. But when the mom leaves, it's like the father raising the kid pretty much. It's not the same effect.
So
If that makes any sense.
yeah,
And me personally,
no, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
was me personally, I didn't have my father in my life. But how you would say that your father not being there, I mean your father being there created the father that you are. I feel like my father not being there created the father that I am in a positive way. But I feel like
All right,
that's not
hold on, because you jumping the gun there, and that's just why I wanted you on. All right, because you just said you just said a lot, so we got to unpack it.
all right.
So you mentioned the suicide rates first of all.
Right.
So because I came prepared, man. I came with stats. So
Okay.
where is it? So according to the U.S. Census Bureau, children from fatherless homes are twice as likely to commit suicide than their peers from two-parent family homes. In addition, a full 63% of all youth suicides happen to children from fatherless homes.
Wow.
That's from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services from a study
Wow.
done in just 2019, a couple of years ago. And now you didn't even know that I was going to bring that up. So, all right. So everybody knows, like, to me, my dad is everything. And I almost feel that I didn't know at the time, but it was a blessing being raised solely by my dad. So I often say this, like, not being raised with my mom, I missed out on the more sensitive side, like
Okay.
the compassion and things like that. But
Right.
I think my dad taught me more of just to outright be a man and
Life skills, right?
yeah, life skills, like how to change a tire, how to change oil, how
Right,
to
right,
do practical shit. So now you brought it up. You were raised without your dad, but
right.
so now I'd look at that. And I'd say, I know you personally, and I'm not gonna say anything personal about you, but I would look at that and say, well, he was raised without his dad. Let me judge him off the bat because this is how he's gonna be. I know how
Right.
you are, but you're saying that your dad not being there for you made you be a better man.
I feel like in a sense it's almost like so you know how you can have somebody you got two kids that grow up in the house with an alcoholic father and so therefore they become alcoholics, but you got the other kid that's like, damn, I ain't never drinking. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like to use a line from one of T.I. songs, by him not giving it to me, he gave it to me. Because not to say that I'm better off, because who knows, I might be even better if I had him there. But I think one of the main things that kind of like did it for me was I'm 7 years older than my brother. So I met my dad when I was like 5 or 6. Him and my mom got back together. She got pregnant with my brother, and within like 2 or 3 months, he was gone again. So when my brother got a little older and started, like, I guess, learning the concept of a dad, he used to call me dad instead of his brother. And that really, really bothered me. You get what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like, I guess, like, not by seeing myself go through it, but more so by seeing him go through it, it helped me to, like, realize, like, the importance.
So you basically had to step up and be dad, even though you didn't want to.
In a sense, as much as a kid could.
Okay, so that leads me to another point that I make. A lot of women are forced to play roles that they were never meant to be in. When Father's Day comes around, a lot of times you'll hear women say, "Oh, happy Father's Day to me," and stuff like that. And I always look at that and I frown on that.
Right.
But in a sense, it's like, I kind of had to play both roles. But that's because of the absent father for whatever reason. I mean, let's take death out of it.
See, I feel like a female can't play the role. They can try, but they can't. They can't.
Don't tell them that.
yeah, I hear you, but I'm telling them that right now. Y'all can't do it. Like y'all can try, and kudos to you for trying. I mean, but at the same time, it's like you're not a man, and I feel like a female has more tendency to nurture as opposed to a dad getting you prepared for life. Like even with my daughter now, it's like she's not my biological daughter, and a lot of times things happen, and I see how her mom tries to deal with it, and I have to pull her and be like, nah, like I just take over because what you're doing right now is like, yeah, we cater to her feelings to an extent, but at the same time, like also let them know that like you're not special in the world. You're not gonna get special treatment. Like the world is cruel. You get what I'm saying?
By the way, whatever you just did, just stay right there.
All right.
Because now I'm hearing you like perfect. But yeah, so I absolutely agree with that. A lot of times, so I always look at it this way. Basically, fuck it, straight talk with Trevor. Let's look at the young boys nowadays. Growing up, 80s baby, you didn't see, because there's a misconception that the dads weren't there. But I've said this before. All the dads were around in my neighborhood, and we had a ton of kids. And you didn't see the boys wanting to wear purses and skinny jeans, and you hear them talk. And so like you hear us talking growing up when we were teenagers, we didn't slur our words. We didn't sound so feminine. But now you hear these young boys now when they talk, it's like you could tell. We'd always say, you grew up with a lot of sisters or something like that. You know what I mean? but and then they tell you, oh, my mom raised me. It's like you listen to these boys now and they so feminine sounding, and their mannerisms, they don't know how to do anything. I often tell the story. One time I was coming home and this older lady flagged me down. There was two guys, probably like 19, 20, over by her car. So I'm like, oh shit, they messing with her. So let me pull over, and get out and check them. I get out there and I'm like, what's the problem? They're like, they call me OG. They was like, OG, can you? And I'm like, come on, man, I'm 40 years old. So I know goddamn OG. But they like, OG, can you show us how to put the battery charging terminal on? I'm like,
the cables?
Yeah, the cables that jump the car.
Oh man.
I'm like, what? But then I'm looking at them. I mean, they got the eyebrows arched. They got, you know what I'm saying?
Nah.
They got the skinny jeans on. They're feminine without trying to be feminine, because there's no man in the house. So and so I'm not. So that I'm not jumping the gun. I'm like, I said, man, y'all dad didn't tell y'all this? Man, he wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, there you go, right there.
See, it's a lot of things that I feel like, even though I feel like I turned out okay, I wonder. I don't know what I'm lacking. You feel me? Because I wonder what, like, especially when it comes to relationships. I never saw my mom in like a real long-term relationship. Like, and if she did try to have one, I sabotaged it. You feel me? Because I felt like my daddy ain't nobody finna be here.
Huh?
So,
why?
like,
Okay. Let's touch on that. Why did you feel that way? So like your dad, you watched your dad. You knew your dad at 6. He came back. You watched him leave again. So why rob your mom of potential happiness for a guy
at that moment?
For a guy that's probably, for all intents and purposes, was going to leave again?
I don't know. I honestly can't answer that question. It's just that at the time I felt like, nah, like we don't need you. We good. I'm thinking as a kid, or you get what I'm saying? There's been times where she was with a guy and he bought me a video game for Christmas, and I tell my mom, like, I didn't ask him to get that. Like, I don't want that from him. Like, it was just war.
So it's I mean, it's natural for boys to protect their mom, especially in the absence of the father. So now the young girls, because you got a daughter. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with them. So hold on, let's talk about this video that I think it was you who sent me the video.
Yeah.
So there was an OG. He probably was locked up for a long time. And
At least 16, 17 years,
yeah,
maybe 18.
Yeah, he probably did a 20-year bid. Let's just round it up. He probably did 20 years. He gets out of jail. His son doesn't know that he's coming home. So he's in the other room. His son is in the bathroom, and they're recording the inevitable interaction. His son is a full-blown sissy. And he comes around the corner
with a beard.
So this guy has his hair all done, women clothes, makeup, but he has the nerve to have a beard. Man, you see why I'm gonna try to be good, but you see why I feel the way I do a lot of times. They trying to have the best of both worlds in his eyes. So his dad sees him. Now, you've been in jail for 20 years. You know you got a son. This is not what you expect when you come out. And
he had to get a heads up, though.
Well, the reaction on his face didn't look like he knew at all. But the reaction on his face also looked like this was my fault. So
I ain't think about that.
Yeah, I watched it again.
I had the idea that, okay, maybe he feel too guilty for not being there to say anything. But yeah, I didn't go that far with it. But you're probably right.
Because he probably was like, damn, what if I was there?
Right.
Like what? Because the boy just putting on full out. He doing his full out shtick.
Yeah, and he was putting makeup on. Looked like when they pulled him out the bathroom or wherever he was at, like he was in the mirror putting on his makeup.
It was again, man. The absence of the father, man. The problem is we always think women had this misconception that, oh, I don't need a man. Well, you probably don't need a man, but what about the kids?
But the child do.
Because a woman can't, and I don't care what they say.
And not just a male, a man.
Yeah, you need a man, a real man, not just someone that stands up to piss.
I had older uncles and cousins and my granddad and whatnot. If it weren't for my granddad, I probably wouldn't even know how to cut grass.
Every young boy needs a male. They need some type of male affirmation in their life. Put it that way, because these women again. I think to their detriment. And one thing I'm going to do on this season is I'm gonna just call it just how it is. A lot of these women, to their detriment, they don't realize how they're screwing these boys up. They with the constant coddling, and you know what is almost like. It's almost like these women can't get a man, so they build the perfect man of their dreams through their sons. You ever watch how they my king and let me match?
Yeah, he's the man of the house.
Yeah. Like, how the fuck is he the man of the house? Let me match. Let's match clothes even when the kid is old. It's one thing if it's if it's a little jitterbug, but you're matching clothes with a teenager. Come on.
It reminds me of another video that we saw where the man was saying that her 32-year-old son had to get a job and start contributing around the house, and she was telling him, "Oh, well, if that's how you feel, you can get out." And Bridget was like, "Oh, this is my mama house. I don't gotta go nowhere. I don't gotta take out no garbage. I don't gotta do this. I don't gotta do that." And he like, "Damn, I pay the bills. So how you gonna tell me I gotta go?" Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that video. They've made their sons. You know why too? Because they feel like their sons is the only man that's not going to leave them.
Right.
They've been.
Which eventually, if he grow up, then he will.
But without that dad there teaching him what men do. Like, hey, you get up once you're old enough. You start creating your own. You don't stay under mama. Without the man in the house, mama's telling him, don't worry, son, you don't got to go nowhere. Don't worry, king. You ain't got to go nowhere, my king. Don't worry. Don't worry. If anybody else comes in, you still the man of the house. You still my baby. You still my prince. You go from being a baby to a prince to a king.
And see that with no kingdom to rule over.
Exactly.
And that's my thing is like, that's what I'm talking about with that nurture. So it's like, that's not preparing them for the world. So what happened when mama gone?
Then you have a bunch of boys out there with daddy issues. You have a bunch of you got a bunch of baby Hueys, big bodies, but they're not equipped. They don't know what it's like to be a man, and that's why I go back. Some moms even sabotage relationships because Absolutely.
They want their son. It's almost kind of sickening, like in like a what's really going on type of way.
All right, so there's this. I'm not gonna say that part. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Oh, fuck it. So there's a so you wait around Pornhub every now and then. So there's you're looking through the categories and stuff, and there's a genre that comes up that's like that's like mom and son. I'm like, who the fuck even thinks of that? Like,
and a lot of times it's just like it's in the front, like it's like popular or something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you'll be scrolling down the timeline and then you're like, oh, what's going on here? Like, what is this? And you know they're not real, but it's like,
the whole concept is fucked up in my opinion.
But you have that. You have that where these boys, their moms treat them so much like they're their man that, I mean, they build up this relationship with their mom inside. You ever watch how some of them, their interaction, how they're always hugging up on them and I mean, not like that mother-son hug, just that creepy ass, you need to get some help type hug. It's just like, it's sickening, man. And without the man in the house, is like, ugh. So, but again, so now we go to the daughters. So I contend, and they'll tell me that I'm wrong, that I need to get a grip and just get with the times. But a trend that I'm starting to see online a lot now is mothers and daughters doing like provocative dances together.
Like twerking together and whatnot, going to clubs together, and it's crazy.
And I'm just sitting here with my old fashioned ass at the ripe old age of 42. I'm like, what has happened here? Like, what?
But I feel like one of the problems is people have kids. Well, I can't really say that because people had kids earlier back then, but it's like, I feel like with every generation, those old school morals get thrown further and further into the distance. And so then you get to the point where mom, grandma, and granddaughter are all hanging out together, chasing men together.
Exactly.
And it's crazy to me. Like, at some point, you got to grow up, and 50 is not the new 30.
But and you're right, because you have 50, 60, 70-year-old women now trying to look like they're still in their 30s and 40s, and then they'll mask wanting to be a whore as let me live. Or
right.
And then so now you have a whole generation of little girls looking like, well, shit, if grandma busting it wide open, why can't I?
Why can't I? And not just that, but I don't never gotta stop. You see how old she is? You
Exactly. Like I'm like, man, it is appalling, man, because I said this one time in the show we did a while ago, where I was like, you look at most of the family reunions and stuff, you don't see too many men. You see,
oh man,
you see all the grandmothers, you see all the aunts, you see all the women folk, but the men that you do see, they're normally just huddled up in the corner by themselves. They're normally just broken down. You don't see any grandfathers.
There's a family where I'm not really trying to, like, because these are real people, but It's like,
Just change the names.
I'm not even gonna put a name to it, but none of the men are around. None of the relationships work.
Wow.
And the only ones that do have successful relationships are the ones that like get the hell out of the city. You feel me? Get the hell out of like the state, and I'm dead serious. And like if you go, it's like the one man that is around is like he's so broken and beat down, and just no say amongst his own crib, and they'll send him to his room if he don't act right.
He's neutered.
I swear. I'm not even pretty much.
They neutered
Pretty
him.
much. They done psychologically castrated him, and it's just sad.
How the hell did we get there? Because growing up, my dad wasn't going for that shit.
And meanwhile, most of the things that's at the core of that family came off of his hard work and sweat, blood, and tears. You get what I'm saying? But he gets no respect. He get a little love, and he don't get no respect.
That's interesting that you say that, because they mean well. They love us. They do.
Yeah.
But what happened? Why they don't feel that they need to respect us anymore?
Because they don't need a man.
I mean, they allow society to pump that shit in their head.
Right. And the reason why is because like society, like if it killed a head and the body dead. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's like if we can go ahead and encourage you to, like, if you just even act like he finna hit you, you go ahead and call police. We'll remove him from the home. We'll go ahead and break bread with you so you can just make sure you testify. Once you take this money, we can go ahead and send him away. And when he come back, you can put him on child support, but he can't be in the house. Put him on child support. We'll give you food stamps and everything.
It's ridiculous, man. It's like it's fucking ridiculous. Like it just is.
It's a systematic destruction.
Absolutely, systematic destruction of the man, and
of the family, especially
of the nuclear.
Once he's out of the house, it's like, now your children are fair game.
Exactly. And unfortunately, some of these women are too blind or stupid, or they've allowed their career, they've allowed the fact that they're making more money now.
They're comfortable.
Yeah, they're comfortable. They bought into all the hype.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, they're left holding the bag, and then they're wondering like, damn, I'm not happy anymore, and I'm not fulfilled in life. And it's because you didn't, you said you didn't need a man, now
and sometimes, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But I was going to say, sometimes it is our own fault at the same time as men, because it's like, I know a couple guys who complain about like not being able to see all their kids, or it's hard to get all their kids together, but at the same time, they the ones that created the separate broken homes. You feel me? You the one that had 6 kids from 6 different women and all that. So it's like, of course you're gonna catch up, and you're gonna have to neglect some of those kids at some times. Like, you can't meet all of their needs consistently when you got them like spread out in so many different ways. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of times, like, dudes want to just like chase the cat and not think about like what they're doing to the seeds that come from that.
Well, I don't think you have to chase the cat too much now.
Right.
It's so,
not nowadays, but
yeah, it's so easily accessible now. And again, I think that comes back to your father. Like, I was watching a video today where and that's the thing too, man. It'd be like the prettiest young women too. It don't, it's just like, and they'll look in the camera and be like, yeah, I want to have sex with like 50, 60, 70 men. I want to be sexually liberated. So you see all these terms they put on it. See, like,
right.
so I call it being a hoe. They call it sexual freedom, sexual liberation,
freedom,
and oh, you know, I want to be in tune with my body, and you know, they make up every type of name for it, but it's called being a hoe, and it's
Pretty much.
is you trying to find your dad somewhere, the dad that's not there, that wasn't present, and had he been there.
Or that wronged you, that because I was present and did something wrong to you.
Yeah. Had your dad been there, he would have gave your ass a hug, sat you down somewhere, and instilled some value into you, and made you feel that you were a princess, made you feel that you were worth something. You didn't have to get your ass up to every man that comes around. And I feel like a lot of these women, they're looking for their dads in these men. So every man that tells them they're pretty, every man that throws a couple of dollars their way, here, I'm going to give you the best of me. And unfortunately, the best that most of these women have to offer is their sex.
Right. And then once you've given it up so much, it's like, it's not even, like, the value goes down every time. And it's funny you said about, somebody who flashed a couple dollars their way and whatnot, because I feel like it's important to an extent to spoil our daughters. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that way, like, they can't be impressed by no little thing that some other little dude do for them, because it's like, oh, my daddy could do that for me. Like, what you really bringing to the table?
You know, we took my daughter. We took her to Legoland a couple of years ago. And we always go somewhere where we stay in like nice hotels, because when we're, you know, as a family now, we need more space. So we always get suites. So we'll get we'll get the king suites with the living room and everything like that. And that's what she's used to. That's what she's used to. She's been going to those hotels ever since she was born. And so one time we took her to Legoland, and I mean, they had this hotel, like literally there was a gate behind the hotel that if you were able to jump the gate, you'd be in Legoland. It was that close.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, let me get this hotel. She walks in that night. And at the time, she couldn't have been more than 3 or 4. She walks in and she's looking around. I'm like, damn, what's going on? And she's just looking around, not saying anything. It's my little girl now. She's looking around and she's like, I was like, what's up? She's like, Daddy, this isn't what I'm used to. and I realized right then and there, she's gonna be all right. Like, I set the standard that you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody could you know, trick her with just a room.
Not gonna be easily impressed. Yeah.
One night in a room, she's like, man, my dad puts me in suites all the time. You know what I mean? It's just like, so yeah, it's definitely important to and it's not even spoiling your girls. It's showing them like, hell, you're worth so much more. Like, don't let a man put a price tag on you. Like, you know, you're my princess. I'm gonna show you exactly how you're supposed to be treated. And if he don't come to you like this, he can't come to you.
You don't gotta be his toy to get nice things, because you can get nice things right here.
Absolutely. And it's just like, man, I just feel like, man, we put the importance on so many other things and not on where it should be. And that's like having the dad in the house, man. I just think, and I'm not saying, and I'm not caping for every dad to be in the house. No, because some men are full of shit.
Right.
But I'm
Let me
talking
ask you this, though. Do you think that if there were more families that were like fully intact, if that happened more often, do you think that the younger generation would have so many kids spread out? Or do you think they would value family more and kind of like think about what they're doing before they bust that nut with no strap? Because I had somebody recently who had another kid, and I'm like, damn, another one? Like, why you here? Like, yeah, man. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how that happened, because we wasn't even thinking about kids. I'm like, it's not the thought that made it happen. Like,
I think again is it's what you're taught. Like, my dad, I remember when I was like, me and my brother, So I'm 2 years older than my brother. So I was like 16 and my brother was 14. I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. My dad showing us how to put on rubbers. Like
Right.
he's showing us how to be safe. He's telling us because he's not naive. He's looking at us like, damn, these boys probably tearing some pussy up or something like that. So
Right.
let me teach them. Let me teach them how to be safe. I'm not gonna scare them off, but at least I want them to be safe. And you know, and
And that's
again,
another thing. that I
the
feel
absence
like,
of the father.
I was gonna say, because that's another thing that I feel like moms is like, I don't sugarcoat shit when I'm talking to my kids. You know what I'm saying? I might not give it to them in the adult form, but it's like it's much easier. I don't know if it's because I'm a male and she's a female, but it's much easier for me to have the uncomfortable conversations with my son and my daughter than it is for their moms. It's way easier for me. It's still not easy. Sometimes it is uncomfortable, but I feel like at the end of the day, I want you to know that you can talk to me about this stuff, and I'd rather you get your information from me than your friends and shit. You get what I'm saying?
And because mothers,
But I feel like for moms, it's like, I don't want to think. I don't want to think about it either. But at the same time, shit, it's the reality.
mothers are just are nurturers. So they, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna they're gonna do their thing. They're gonna nurture their kids and they're gonna try to protect them and shield them. Whereas our form of protection is putting them onto game, like letting them know,
Right.
you know, because a lot of times they'll try to shield them from so much without letting them know that it rains outside. So when they
As
go
opposed to preparing them for it and giving them an umbrella.
so,
like,
yeah. So when they go outside and they wonder why they're fucking getting soaking wet, hey, you never prepare me for this one. Whereas with dad's like, hey, a bunch of water is gonna fall out of the sky. When that happens, you need to wear, you need to have this umbrella, and it's just it's
That's a good analogy.
it's a whole different game, man. And that's why I always focus on, I've been getting in a lot of YouTube beef lately, and so I just been getting back to my old self, and I'm like, you know what? If you guys are gonna hate me, you guys are gonna hate me for exactly what I stand for. And I think that there's an all-out assault on the black man because the idea of a nuclear family is not top priority anymore. So back to what you were saying, it would, if the dad's presence was more pertinent in the house, it absolutely would be less sex going on, or at least less unprotected sex.
Right. They'll at least think, like, you know what I'm saying, like consciously try to protect from having a kid, or like, damn, like I want a banger, like, damn, like I'm definitely gonna hit that, but I ain't trying to be fucked up with her like that. She's just gonna be somebody I smash and that's it. But then it's like, nah, that's your big moment. It's like, damn, I fucked up. But it's like, if you knew from the jump, it's like you should have tried to not even stick your dick in it. But if you couldn't help it, then you should have at least stopped up or do everything in your power to make sure. But a lot of people just say, fuck it, I'm gonna roll the dice.
Yeah, it's it's crazy, man. So here's another stat that I was just looking at. So it says living in a fatherless home is a contributing factor to substance abuse, with children from such homes accounting for 75% of adolescent patients being treated in substance abuse centers.
So that's why I went wrong at.
Because you know what's funny now? I watch my dad. I would tell it's like now I could look back at things and I could see things so clearly. I watched my dad growing up. My dad was a fucking chain smoker. Like he would go through at least a pack a day. I don't think he smokes nearly as much now. He may have stopped for a couple of years, but I watched my dad smoke. The minute my dad thought that I was smoking weed, he wanted to kill me. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm thinking to myself, like, look at the hypocrisy here. I'm like, this Joker been smoking cigarettes since he was a teenager. And here it is. I smoked one joint. Now he want to kick me out of the house. He want to do this because he was telling me, I'm not raising no drug addict. Again, though, it's like, man, I'm telling you, man, the father, man, y'all know, and y'all have gotten on me a lot of times, and y'all have asked me this, because I was on my whole black woman God thing, and you guys would always ask me, and then I'd have to kind of dial it back some. But I think, man, I'm telling you, this is what this season going to be. I think the most, the thing that needs to be protected the most, man, is the black man. I mean, like, we are hunted down. I mean, we're not even gonna get into the brother that was just murdered by the cops. I mean, like that's how they see us. And then
they got us hunting each other too.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh yeah. Y'all gonna see in this season. I done eased up. I'm coming hard at all you that's killing one another in the streets. I'm holding you personally responsible. You're blaming the white man for everything. It's your fault for sitting there blaming the white man. You already knew how the white man felt about you. You didn't have to help contribute to your own extermination.
Speaking of black on black violence, I just want to say rest in peace to Brandon Dessalines, gunned down January 9th on my very street.
And he had kids, huh?
Nah, he didn't have no kids.
Yeah, he didn't have any kids.
But he was just wrong place, wrong time with people that did something else that ain't had nothing to do. Yeah, had nothing to do with him. Just happened to be with him when the get back came.
But I'm pretty sure his killer was somebody that he knew, that he's seen before.
Yeah, most likely, 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. And
somebody that looked just like him.
Yep.
It wasn't the white guy. It wasn't the cop. I mean, it was a dude that looks just like you in the mirror. I
just seen a clip right before you called me with you know who Charleston White is, right?
Oh yeah.
And he was saying something about I'm not too familiar with him, but I just learned about him maybe a couple of weeks ago. You know, I be on the rock sometimes, but he was saying something about I don't like rappers. Rappers are the enemy. Like, they contribute to white supremacy. There's a tool that white supremacy uses to tear down our neighborhood. You know, like, I love black women. I love my brothers and sisters, so how could I love rappers? You know, like, no other genre of music glorify killing each other, killing your mama, killing your daddy, whatever. And he was just saying how rappers are the new tool of white supremacy.
Where's the lie?
Hey, good question. I can't tell you.
I've said that tons of times, man, because I mean, we had these off-air conversations, but I always say, what other group of people talk about, like, publicly disparage one another but us? And we do it through our music. I mean, you listen to some of these, like, I don't listen to anything new anyway, but you listen to some of these lyrics, man, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they're okay with it. And the women are okay with basically saying, hey, I'm a whore, I'm going to the highest bidder. Because you know why? Because they know some uninformed mom is going to listen to it, and then they're going to let their little girls listen to it. So now you're cultivating a generation of whores, a new generation of whores.
Like Lupe said, bitch bad, woman good, lady better.
I mean, I'm telling you what, this season is the cape is off. I'm telling you, the cape is off, because one thing being on YouTube has taught me, man, it's some vile, disgusting people out there, and they need to be checked, like, for real. And I'm gonna check them. The Straight Talk with Trevor podcast is gonna check them. I mean, because it's crazy. So let me look at my time. Oh, we're doing real good. So I'm gonna wrap this up soon, but I did want to ask you. I want to ask you one thing. So, but back to my dad. So I don't want to forget about this, because this was one thing that I wanted to say. I mentioned earlier about young boys not having the affirmation of a man, so they go through life and they've never had a man affirm them. And I always like to use the I always like to use a story. About to go to the Bible again. I always like to use a story of King David when the prophet came to the house of Jesse and he was looking for the next king to anoint. And Jesse had all his sons lined up, and the prophet was looking like, don't you have another son? Like he's looking at all these boys, and then he's like, is there another one? Because all I see is this little scrawny runt. And he's like, no, these are all my boys. And then God was like, that's him. That's him. He's looking, and he was saying that, you look at the outward, but God looks at the inward. And
Right.
so basically what I get from that is where I'll tell young boys, like, I see the king inside of you. So regardless of what it looks like now, I don't see your current situation. And
Right.
I say that to say this: when was the last time we affirmed a young man? Like, you have a son, so you're good. You have a son, you help raise your brother, so you're good. You help affirm, young men. So when was the last time? There's a bunch of boys in gangs right now. There's a bunch of boys out there ready to do drive-bys, ready to rob, ready to sell dope, ready to do this. You know why? Because they never had their dad look at them and be like, you know what? I see the king in you. I see greatness in you. There's something bigger inside of you than what you're doing now. And I say that to say this: when I got married 10 years ago, I was chilling off in the corner, just waiting for them to call me out, like call me up to come take my place.
Right.
And my dad saw me, and he walked over there, and I'm like, "What's up?" I'm looking at him, because I'm about to get married. I'm like, "Shit, if I'm gonna run now." So, I'm sitting there, and I'm just looking off into space, and then he came over to me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he like looked me in my eyes, and he put both hands on my cheek, and I'm like, "What the fuck is about to happen here?" And he kissed me on my forehead, and I never forget. And he said, "I am so proud of you." And
Oh, man.
and when I got married when I was 33, and when I tell you that as a 33-year-old man, the kid inside of me started crying out, because I was like, man, here I am. I've been wanting to hear those words for so long. Like, me and my dad are like so close. But
Right.
my dad was never the type of dad to be like, "I love you." You know how my dad told you that he loved you? He was home every night.
Exactly.
He kept a roof over your head. He kept clothes on your back. He kept food in the fridge. You always had a dad when you came home. He never was a type to say that "I love you." He wasn't that mushy type. He didn't come to games or anything like that because he was always working. He wasn't that type. But at 33 years old, my dad kissed me on my forehead and told me how proud he was of me. He just randomly out of the blue. So, and if I could be a 33-year-old man and the kid inside of me ignited, what would happen now if you have these kids now with their dads still at their young age, and their dad would get up off his macho high horse and go get his son and say, "I'm so proud of you. I see the king in you. Let's do this thing. I see greatness in you." I mean, what would happen? What greatness, what leaders would we have in this world if that's what happened? Versus a kid saying, "My daddy never was there."
Right.
Fuck that nigga. I don't know him.
Yeah, that's deep.
He wasn't there for me. And it's funny when my
And not having your dad there, it kind of makes you build like a wall towards any man. Like I said, when another man tried to come in, it's like, I don't got no love for my daddy, so I don't know what you think you trying to do here, but Nigga, I ain't your son. You ain't my daddy. I don't gotta listen to you.
And man, it was so funny. Like even at my dad's 60th birthday party, you know, I got up to get some words to him, and it's on video. It's on video somewhere. Well, I may find the video and put it on YouTube or something. But I basically recreated that scene from my wedding, where I told him, I said, you know, back at my wedding, you did this, but now here I am at your 60th birthday, returning the favor. And actually, the cover art for this episode is going to be of that picture where I'm embracing my dad and kissing him on the forehead. And I just told him, thank you. Thank you for everything. Because if my daughter right now is the beneficiary of
what he poured into you,
of what my dad poured into me.
And see, that's the way it should be. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I'm not gonna lie, I tell my son every time I talk to him that I love him, and he hate it. But at the same time, I tell him every time just because I need him to know. You never know, tomorrow might not come. So if anything was to ever happen to me, he can never say that he never heard me say those words to him. He might hate it now, but he'll appreciate it when he get older.
You know
what?
Even
once he have kids.
You know what? A situation may rise. A situation may rise where he's about to do something bad, and he's gonna be like, you know what? My dad loves me. I don't got to do this shit.
Or even just feeling, if he's feeling down on himself, because you know, as young boys, we don't. Like, when you was that age, you didn't share all your feelings and whatnot.
Not at all.
You thought you was tough. You thought you was macho. You didn't want to admit that nothing bothered you.
Man, yeah, but again, man, we need to get out of this whole thing like, oh, it makes you a punk, it makes you soft. We need to affirm our kids, man. We need to be there for our kids, because they need us. So now, before I let you go, 2 years ago, you did a show with me. God, I can't believe it was that long ago.
That's what I'm thinking.
I asked you a question. And I remember what you said to me. So now that we're talking about this, I'm going to ask you that question again before I let you go.
I'll take the money.
So 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I asked you this question. I said, if you got $2 million with no guarantees, or you could live another 20 years in moderate health, at least another 20 years. 20 years is what you're guaranteed. Whatever else.
I remember the question being 50 years or something like that.
Was it 50?
I think it was.
Nah, because 50 would put us in the like being 90 and nah. Nah, it was saying like, would you want to do, okay, let's say another 30 then. Because then that put us into the 70 range. Or you could get another 30 years guaranteed, not meaning that you're going to die in 30 years. But
right.
You're just, you could go another 50 years, but you're guaranteed at least a minimum of 30 or $2 million. And you still say you're taking the money.
I'm taking the money. So
Yeah.
I can set my kids up for the next 30 years.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I get it. I totally get it, man. But I totally disagree, because I couldn't, if I could get a guaranteed 30 years plus, knowing that I'll be here for my daughter, man, I gotta take it. I take it.
I can respect it. I can't really argue against it, but it's just, I feel like I'll take the $2 million, because I feel like, okay, now it's time to, like, I'm already trying to teach them both how to, like, manage their money and do this and that, but I feel like I can teach them so much more and set them up for the future. I'm not even worried about me and how I'm living. I'll just make sure that, okay, like, you got this account, y'all can't touch this money till y'all 25, 30, and then this is what I'm going to do for you, this is what I'm going to do for you, and I feel like they'll be set for life. So it's like, even when I'm gone, they'll be okay, and they can look back and say, you know what, Dad might not be here to see this, but I know he's looking down on me and he's proud of me because I turned this into something. And I'm glad he set me up to be able to do this.
I respect that 100%. Well, As always, man, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
It's always a good conversation. The beginning of this episode might be a little choppy because I don't know, you were in a different spot, but once you got into that new spot, it was nice and loud and clear. So, what you got going on? Anything you need to promote before you go?
Not really. Just still holler at the missus for the good edibles. If you got Trevor, contact jreyes954@gmail. Just get at the good edibles, and other than that, man, I'm kind of slowing down on the reptile thing right now because I'm running out of room. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man, those edibles, I'm telling you, man, the bitches are fire. Like 1/4 of those damn brownies knock my big ass out, like completely out.
And she did something new with the gummies to where you don't got to keep them refrigerated, and she add a little Kool-Aid for the flavor.
Oh, I gotta check those out because I love the little the ones that look like chewing gum. Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on again, man.
Appreciate you having me. It's been a pleasure as always. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, no doubt.
And try not to take so long of a break next time.
Yeah.
I've been running out of shit to listen to at work, and I'm like, damn, this ain't dropped yet?
Nah, you know what I do, man? I'm telling you, I be over there on YouTube, man, causing trouble. I won't even lie to you. I be in all type of shit over on YouTube. Everybody calling my name now, talking shit about me, and it's all good.
And you don't even fuck with nobody.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. They mad I'm guilty by association because because I rock with Black Sun, so they like, nah, if he cool with Black Sun, he an enemy to me. So that's how they do it. But whatever. Internet tough guys. I don't sweat it.
Hey, what they say, the presence of haters blow you up.
Yeah, well, y'all blow the page up. Y'all make sure and like it. Let me get to 1,000 followers. I can get some.
Or if anything, just tune in so you can see what else you can hate on.
Absolutely, y'all give me 1,000 followers so I can get some of this YouTube money. All right, man, take it easy.
All right, you too.
All right, peace.
Yo.
And there you have it, man. Another excellent conversation with Zay. Zay is one of my absolute favorite guests. And, I could literally call him about anything. He didn't know what we were going to talk about, to a point like when he started talking about the suicide and stuff, he never knew that I was going to bring that up. So it's like me and him, we just clicked together. So, that's like one of my absolute favorite guests. I could talk to him about anything. I could literally tell him like, hey, Zay, let's talk about some aliens or something like that. He'd be like, all right, what day you want to do it? I'm so glad that I'm back, and I'm so glad that you guys tuned in. But I do want to reiterate, man, the importance of the fathers in the home. Because, like I say, if my dad wasn't in my life, I don't know where I would, I don't know where I would be. And I for damn sure know that I wouldn't be as good of a father as I am to my daughter. It's like, my getting choked up there. My dad, he just taught me so much, man. He never said too much, and he wasn't the type, like I say, he wasn't the type that said I love you. He did love it. He loved me and my brother. He loved us to death. I know that, but he wasn't the type that was gonna be like, you know what, I love you, I love you, I love you. But he showed it in other ways, just by being such a fucking awesome man. And I love my dad like so much. I really don't, I don't care what anybody thinks about me, except for my wife and my daughter. And then my dad is that other person. Like, the fact that I consciously think about doing things because I'm wondering, like, man, how would my dad feel about this? It just, It just says a lot. So if you're a dad out there and you have the ability to be in your child's life, do it because they need you. If the woman's keeping you away from your child, fight harder. Don't let that be an excuse. Hey, but what do I know? I'm just the guy with the microphone. Until next time, I leave you with these words. Always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. And with that, real quick, please be sure to check out that YouTube page. It's Straight Talk with Trevor on YouTube. Check out the Straight Talk Society on Facebook. Please be sure to like that page. I'm about to get back active on there. And I am about to start doing live streams on YouTube also, where I'll just cut in and do little live things in the morning and things like that. So this show will be out in a couple of days, but I don't think I have anything else to say. So now, officially, I leave you with these words. Always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. And I want you guys, I am going to start playing other people's music also. So I want you guys to ride out with the tunes of my boy, Black Diamond E. Until next time, peace.
Me and B.E. best, you know how I go. Better than the rest. Yeah. All right, we gonna do it. It's gonna eat. All right. Now here we go. Rippin', trippin', put in my clip in. No bullshitting, nigga, straight cash, get in. Phone ringing, hello, I'm waiting. Smoking my weed in, that's how I'm living. Oh yeah, small, fresh, can't forget the ball. Catch me and my dog, buzzing head and getting bread. Bitch, we want it all. Stunting on them niggas, shining on them hoes. Bitch, you know how I go. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my hammer, then throw that flame. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my chopper, then bust his brain. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my hammer, then throw that flame. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my chopper, then bust his brain. I'ma throw that flame, I'ma melt your frame. Dope got me insane, stack dough to make it rain. Nigga, I'm just saying, my wrist on sizzle. Black diamond watch, call it sausage McGriddle. Pieces to the puzzle, the answer to the riddle. Hot like a griddle, steaming always clean. Not respect my G, you know it's fucking E. Nigga, what it be? Nigga, I'm smoking trees. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my hammer, then throw that flame. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my chopper, then bust his brain. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my hammer, then throw that flame. I be damned if I let a nigga take my chain. I'ma cock my chopper, then bust his brain.
If you can't get enough of Straight Talk with Trevor, be sure to like our Facebook page. You'll get page-only exclusives like links to early shows and behind-the-scenes video footage. You can also participate in polls that might shape future shows. The best thing about our Facebook page is that's where you can get in direct contact with Trevor. You can also leave show topics, reviews, or even request to be a guest on the show. Again, like us on Facebook, and thank you for your continued support.